Welcome, Mr. Daniel Wade.
Thank you very much.
I just want to have a brief interview with you and ask you a few questions about the just ended assessment that you guys conducted with your American research team. Firstly, can you please tell me who are you and what did you study?
My name is Daniel Wade. 1982 born. A youth of Liberia. A student of the University of Liberia. Reading economics major and accounting minor. And I've been actually involved with youth activities for the past almost 5 years now because I've served as a student leader for my school, representing YMCA in my school from when I graduated. Upon my graduation in 2005, I've been very active with youth activities, that is with the YMCA, and I went to the Federation of Liberian Youth. I just volunteered with youth programs.
Now, so I want to know, what did you guys do with the American research team, and then where did you go?
Actually, I joined the American research team on the 8th of March. When they came, we first of all went into a process that was really youth focused, measuring it as it relates to youth programs in Liberia, what impact it has had on young people in Liberia, and how young people in Liberia have been engaged. And it was very wonderful. The beginning part was, it started with an orientation, seeing young people from America focusing directly on youth activities in Liberia, having the interest on studying about programs relating to young people, how the young people in Liberia are being engaged. We went to something of a 4-day orientation, and after the orientation, Liberia was partitioned into various zones, and I was fortunate to be with Zone 2. We went Nimba, we went Lofa, and we went Bon County. And one of the unique things about our zone was that we were able to develop an algorithm for our zone that was Limbolo, Nimba, Bon, and Lofa Youth Project. That was the unique thing about our project, and we went into the communities, into the various counties. We visited almost about 9 towns in Nimba, as well as Lofa and Bon County. It was a very strange and very unique program. That is, in many of the assessments that I have participated in, you can really develop questionnaire. But unlike for that, we didn't have questionnaire. We were just talking about methods, conversation. So you will meet a young person between the ages of 18 to 35 in the community and engage them, talk to them, share their own experiences with you, let go out yourself. Some were not even willing to talk, but at the end of the day, there were exciting stories that developed from the communities. There were important findings that were derived at the end of the day, so it was a very unique program.
So why is this project really important to you as a young person?
First of all, I think, as I said from my thesis statement, the project is a unique one. It got a very new approach, because one thing is that many times people say, they have done social things with young people in Liberia. We send this amount for specific programs, like education, like health, like peace and security, impacting the young people of Liberia. But then when you go in the communities, the reality on the grounds are so different. It helps us to identify truth between myths. Like how I told my colleagues, that is the reality on the ground and what on paper. So for example, people say they spend $4 million for the past 5 years towards education. Then you go to a community, people do not have schools. parents or community dwellers or town citizens go together, they build their own mouth-to-mouth school building, and they do not have instructors. And could you imagine in one district there is even no high school? People got to work for 3 to 4 hours before they have access to school. People have to work for 3 to 5 hours before they have access to help. Like for example, there was a story that came up in Lofa where this lady was compared to give birth in the 21st century of our time. For somebody to give birth on a highway, in a bush, in a forest. That was very appalling to me. And this is the time that during the election, our president went into, the only thing she had to prioritize was to build a community guest house for the people. But then the health matters. And the appalling situation again is that people were coerced, or people are coerced in this village to pay $1,500 Liberian dollars, almost $25 US, to help them, to enable them, the women, to have access to help. The clinic that they have to work for 5 hours before they attend. And so if you do not pay, or your wife or the husband doesn't pay this $1,500, when the woman gave birth to the child will not have access to any health facilities and nothing at all. And in fact, you'll be far more than that. So my concern was who is imposing the fare on people, the funds on people? Who is asking people to pay the $1,500? And where is this $1,500 going? So it was very important because, as a matter of fact, the program was a youth focus. It was youth driven. It guided young people in deciding their own future, in deciding the future of this country. They acted program areas that when government prioritized, young people issues will be addressed. So there are many things that make the program to be very unique.
Now I want to know, can you just tell me briefly what makes this particular exercise different from other programs or projects that you participated in before?
Oh, there are several things. First of all, the methods used, like what I said. Many of the surveys that have conducted on HIV and AIDS, on decentralized plan activities across Liberia, on assessment on poverty reduction programs, there were specific questionnaires developed. But unlike this case, there was nothing the questionnaire developed. There was one-to-one discussion. You got to give your own story to motivate somebody to be able to speak their own story. And secondly, the selection of people, the idea that was used, right? People did not just stay in America to develop a specific guideline to bring it to Liberian people or the youth of Liberia to impose it on them, but rather the Liberian youth, they were selected to derive at the specific tools that were being used in the process. The selection process was very sensitive. It was very youth focused. So it was youth driven. It was youth conclusion as we say. Everything about it was pertaining to youth. So that what makes it very, very different from other programs that we have attended. Like some of the past programs, people do not even focus on the aid that comes to our country, the impact it makes. People just focus on reports, and at the end of the day, when they get a report, that's all to it. But to measure reports with actuality on ground, that has been the challenge, and that what makes this program to be very unique. Because quoting report and going on the ground to see what actually has been done are two different things. For example, I may sit here and write a very fine report to maybe UNDP or the UN agency to say, I've done this in the community. But then if you went into the community and there is nothing on the ground. So those are some of the things.
Now, what did you tell your friends and family when you returned from the field? What was your experience like? How did you share it with them?
I mean,